Salute, I'm Shawn Welsh, your host today. Today we're sitting down with Troy Pepito with Genuine Spirit Company. So glad you're here with us today. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about your service. You know, what branch were you in? What'd you do?
So I served 20 years in the Navy. My first 5 years, I started as a deckhand at bosun mate. Did those 5 years on a guided missile destroyer at Hawaii. Switched jobs into the MP field for Master Arms in the Navy. I did that for 15, and then I transitioned out in 2018.
Okay. So I was Army, you were Navy. When you're assigned to a ship, how much time do you actually get on land? Like, did you get to actually enjoy Hawaii, or are you on the boat all the time?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time around port. Nice thing about the Navy was when we were out to sea, we were going to another port.
Nice.
So we had a lot of Liberty calls, especially when I came in, and then it was a fair amount of time for sure.
Okay, all right. So I love the traditions of the Navy. I mean, there's so many great traditions, especially on the enlisted side when they go to become a chief. Love that whole piece and what goes into that. But you guys also have a bunch of great on the water things as well. I saw my dad was Navy and my wife's grandfather was Navy, so we got to see a lot of those different like certificates and stuff like that.
Oh,
Did
yeah,
you ever get a
lots of
chance to do that?
traditions. Yeah, so we had you have your shellback ceremonies. If you cross over the equator, if you go over the prime equator, you call it an emerald shellback, and you have the WOG ceremony. Those are fun. I'm sure you probably heard some stories about that. There's a couple other things.
Show.
There's a couple other traditions we do. One of them was order the ditch. I got to sail through the Panama Canal.
Okay.
So that was a great experience when I was younger. But lots of fun things that happened in the Navy I was in. And I was a chief, so I went through that whole process when I retired. So lots and lots of traditions
That is awesome.
I partook in.
That is absolutely awesome. And believe it or not, I stole that from the Chiefs one time, and I had a soldier about to become an E5, so I gave him a book, and I told him to go get all the signatures of everybody in the thing, knowing that it's all about mentorship and learning and knowing who to go to and the connections. I caught so much grief for that in our unit about why I was wasting other people's times, and it's like, I'm so sorry you see it that way, you know?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because it was funny. Just last week I was in Chicago and I took my book with me from Chief. I've dusted it off. It's been a while, but had the opportunity to sit in front of some senior level chief executive officers in my industry that I work in, and I just wanted to get some knowledge from those guys for a new CEO. I was like, for a young guy coming in, I was military and transitioned out into that. Can I get some words of wisdom? And I actually broke it out, and they were asking about it, and it's decorated, and they were just like, what is this?
That's
like,
awesome.
I was like, it seems kind of childish and artsy, but if you open it up, you'll see that there's some people that have signed this that are higher government officials and they understand it, and they were like, oh, wow, this is actually a thing. And so they put some words of wisdom in the book for me. So,
That's awesome. I love to hear that because that is such a great tradition, and I think real leaders understand the importance of that and the impact that you can have. So you alluded to being a brand new CEO in a different industry. So tell us about that. What do you got going on?
Yeah, so when I transitioned out of service back in 2018, I joined forces with a distillery called Hotel Tango Distillery. Mm-hmm. They're veteran-owned out of Indianapolis, and I was their director of military sales.
Okay.
So I did that for 4 years, learning the trade, learning everything there was about selling alcohol, selling bourbon, selling vodka. They had a very large lineup of products. I left them in January, and I launched my own brand, April 1 Bourbon Whiskey, also known Genuine Spirit Company is the big parent company, but I've been running with that for the last 9-10 months now.
Okay, so it launched on what day?
April 1st.
There you go.
Yeah, it launched on April 1st.
So you kept with it. Why April 1? What's the
So April 1 goes back to my roots as a chief petty officer. So on April 1st, 1893, the chief petty officers were established. Okay. So going through the whole branding and trying to figure out what I wanted to call it. I was like, I'm going to call it April 1. Actually, I was going to call it 1893, but the trademark office said no. Coca-Cola owned that number. I was like, oh my God, of course they do. So stuck with a month and a day.
I know the military does not glorify alcohol, but any chance April 1's going to become the official bourbon of the Chief's Mess?
I think it kind of has come the official bourbon. It's official, unofficial is what I say.
Okay.
Yeah, they do have a big deglamorization push of alcohol in the military now. The whole drunken sailor image we're trying to get rid of. Right. With me, and I get that question asked a lot. It's more about being responsible, drinking better. It's not about going out and getting tanked.
Right.
but go out and have, reward yourself if you want to have a couple cocktails here and there and be responsible the way through. If you overindulge, we still preach that all the way. Don't do anything silly when it comes to drinking, consuming alcohol.
Oh, absolutely, and I think it was definitely needed. And I think all the services are pretty much following suit and doing the same thing. Well, I wish you the best of luck. You got a great product. I've tried it. I love it. I'm not going to say I feel like an investor. That might imply that I buy a lot of bourbons, but I feel like I'm part of the family. Let's put it that way.
It's a big feature, big culture.
There you go. Love what you got going on, and wish you the best of luck with it.
Thanks.
All right, thanks for tuning in today to 5 Minute Salute. This is Shawn Welsh, and we're here supporting Operation Barnabas. And make sure you go check out April 1 Bourbon. Where can you find it?
April1bourbon.com.
April1bourbon.com. See you next time.
Operation Barnabas is a veterans ministry, started in 2017 with the purpose of helping our veterans that kind of got left behind.
These people went over and went to war for us, and a lot of their friends didn't come back, and that's a lot of the stuff that we as veterans deal with is there's a lot of people that didn't make it back, and then it's like, why are we here? So and then they isolate.
And they've struggled with addictions, PTSD, suicidal thoughts, those kind of things, helping them get whole again through one-to-one mentorship.
So being able to communicate with them and help them can drastically change their life, can drastically change a family's life. The little that we can do is put our hand out and say, hey, do you want a hand up? Like, we're not giving a hand out. Do you want a hand up? And just be able to be there with them and do life with them and just be able to help them, because, man, they put their life on the line for you and me.